Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Unless if you're rude and obsessive and commenting weird things trying to enforce toxic ritualistic behaviors, then you can leave. And I hope you do.
And I'm Lisa.
And I'm totally calling out somebody specifically. So.
And I'm so Aquarius that I'm chill. I'm here.
So if it doesn't apply, like all the tarot girlies and boilies say, if it doesn't resonate with you, then just ignore it.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Because it doesn't resonate.
I'm not involved in Alex's drama.
Not yet. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, but anyways, we're gonna do a not so fab fatties reaction, which they are talking about visibility.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Lisa she's getting into that small fat world. So for those of you guys who don't know, one of the biggest things about becoming small fat as these, there's so many like disclaimers you have to do, but these categories, they're only effective online. I would never say it IRL. It doesn't really make much sense to say it IRL, but it does help online. It helps to categorize things. One of the biggest things that happens when you approach small fat is you become visible, which means people notice you. Mm-hmm. However, it's not always in the best of ways.
And we're going to be a little anecdotal story about what happened yesterday. So Alex and I are in Austin, Texas on vacation.
Yes.
And because of that, my face is bloated as all hell. Like, if you look at my other thumbnails on my channel, my face is nice and thin and chic, and you can see a jawline. Not since I got off that plane.
I'm super bloated as well, but luckily I'm still mid AF. Mm-hmm. So we're still midding it up in the mids.
Yeah. But we're in Austin, Texas, and Alex and I went to dinner last night with our friend Eric, and we were walking downtown, and I was harassed by not one, not two, but 3 homeless people on the way there. Alex was perfectly fine.
I blended in.
Eric, perfectly fine. One of the homeless people literally reached around Eric to try and give me suntan lotion, and he looked at me and he's like, "Girl, you need it."
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird.
One of them called me a bitch.
Yeah. There was a homeless guy that asked Lisa for money, and she was like, I don't have any cash. And then he was like, yeah, whatever, bitch, blah, 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 blah. Like, really? And I was like, oh my God.
I didn't even hear it because I was like.
But it's like, it was kind of exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was
go
just,
out with Lisa for an hour and you're going to be exhausted. And then that one woman, she hit her.
Yeah, she smacked me like that. She was like, and I was I just stepped away and I was like, okay.
And I was like, ugh.
Well, now you know for sure that I'm not faking my non-reactivity.
That's true.
Yeah, Alex has met me in person, and he's
Lisa
seeing just
took it like a champ. I don't even think Lisa cares really. She didn't even hear the person call her bitch, but me and Eric did, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. So, but that's kind of, I don't know. It kind of happens that way. Like for me, it was very jarring. Mm-hmm. I hated it, and I am reactive, so I immediately reacted, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
But Lisa doesn't care, so
no, I just I literally care so little, I didn't even hear it.
Yeah, she doesn't care at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll care if they try to stab me or something,
but that's just whatever.
Yeah.
Or that's normal stuff.
And if you're thinking we're so close here, it wanted to fit into the frame, but we're cuddling for warmth because our air conditioning is really strong.
Yeah.
And we're just doing our best to survive.
Yes.
But yeah.
So as a part of Lisa, now becoming an expert on
visibility
and fatness, and me having had the experience of being a small fat, which, by the way, that's the stage where a lot of people are like, everyone hates you when you're fat and you're just treated so terribly, and it's all a bunch of people that were only ever small fat and then they lose weight, because those of us have been like really big. We're like, you're not treated that bad when you're really huge.
And they must have also been in Austin, Texas.
Well, maybe, but it's like you're not usually treated that bad actually when you're really big. But I noticed it when I was small fat, and I was like, oh, but it's because I think it's because you're kind of in between, or like you're just held to like a higher standard. It's like a weird place where it's like people don't feel bad for you, but they also judge you a little harsher at the same time, or they're more critical. So it is what it is. But You'll get through.
Yeah, and the Fat Fatties are here to educate us some more about it.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to say a bunch of BS, to be honest. I don't think they're going to say anything that's actually true, but let's go ahead and see. But that's real life hate comments from Miss Lisa.
Yeah, well, that's what I get for not carrying cash on me. Although I did. I just didn't want to give him a 20. Let's go back to the beginning where it all started, Rebecca. I know her name now. This is from 10 months ago.
You pointed out the sheet. This is from 10 months ago, and you said that Rebecca has gained weight.
Well, we do know there is a video that Alex is going to be reacting to soon for his members.
Yeah.
Where they talk about how happy they are that she did gain weight.
Yeah, which is really weird.
Oh, okay. Well, let's jump into it.
Welcome back to the Fab Fatties. My name is Rebecca.
Alyssa. Allie.
And this week we're going to talk about going public with our fatness. Obviously, we're fat, if you didn't know. If you've been listening.
Oh my gosh, you don't say.
Watch there be some listener on the podcast who thinks we've been talking 15 plus weeks about being fat, but we're not actually fat. So we're fat. I don't know if you knew this. And there's a difference, though, of being fat and just walking around the world and never acknowledging it, and then actually talking about the experience of being fat. And I think all of us have experienced a shift in our daily lives as we have begun publicly discussing our fat experiences. And of course, we've shared before that each of us have different timelines of when we've gone publicly fat. I'm the oldest public fat.
The OG.
Yep. Alyssa's the newest to talking about being
fat. I'm just a baby.
Just a little baby. And that, of course, shapes our experience, our like newness to it. But even though I've been...
Okay, this is very, as I told you guys, this is extreme. I've been realizing, oh my gosh, the girls are really out. I've been realizing this is really introvert cringe of a podcast. Like, two whole other levels of introvert cringe. Like, the fact that they believe that you're not publicly fat unless if you post about it online is so stupid. I can almost not even fathom it. Being fat is public because it's external, period. It's inherently public. It is a social experience as well as a physical experience. That's why I talk about it the way that I do on my channel, because there is an interpersonal component to it. It's the same thing within the toxic ritualistic. There is not just an internal struggle, but also an interpersonal struggle and an external struggle with reinforcement mechanisms and stuff, which this podcast is a great example of. They are really reinforcing each other especially hard. Very, very, very hard, to the point where I think they would absolutely hate each other or somebody if they said they wanted to lose weight, or if they didn't want to do stuff anymore. If they were like, even if they were just like, oh, I don't know, I don't really want to eat that because it's kind of a lot. That would be enough, I think. Where they'd be like, and they'd be like, no, you have to eat the damn Pop-Tart, and they'd start going for it. So, yeah, I'm just saying that whole thing is stupid. And honestly, you could almost end it right there. That's how bad it is. Yeah. Because everything they're going to say from this point forward, in my opinion, is rooted in absolute BS.
Yeah. I think also we have to acknowledge there's a virtue signal aspect to it, which it's obvious, but it goes back to the whole thing of, it's not enough to be, anti-fat phobic. You must be actively anti-fat phobic. You have to voice it in order to prove that you're on the side that they want.
Right. I think that's true. But it's also, again, because the disordered aspect of it is there, it's also a mental health problem too. Yeah. So it's not even just because they will try to frame it in terms of bigotry, but it doesn't actually work that way because
I understand what you're saying, but they're using the framework of that. Yeah, they're following the framework, and so their mental illness is guiding them through it.
Yeah, basically. Basically politicizing mental illness is basically, I agree, but there's a combination of the two, and it's really toxic because what they're doing is, it's not enough to just have it. You also have to promote the problem.
Yeah.
That's basically what it ends up being, which is what we've seen, honestly.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that because they're talking about public, and as you said, it was like specifically online. When we have like real world examples of visibility of what I experienced yesterday.
Right. Which they were never saying something like, oh my God, Lisa, you're so fat. It's not about that. It's just about, at a bigger size, they may not have registered her. They may not have noticed her as much, or they would have just been like, kind of looked past her.
Yeah.
But then she becomes visible, and they're like, and they're really staring at her. Like, and I think too, there is an element of when you're fat, you're not as intimidating too, which I do agree. There is definitely a woman aspect as well.
Yeah.
But I also, when I was bigger, I had people say things to me and stuff.
I don't know if we talked about the example yet here, but just to reiterate, like what the third guy who harassed me on the street, he literally reached around me. Like Eric was on one side and Alex was like behind me, but on the other side, he reached around Eric, who is fit, and tried to give me suntan lotion and was like, girl, you need it. And it's like, so like Eric in that instance was invisible, but he went straight for me, like reached around a whole ass 6 foot tall man.
Yeah, it's true. And then I wasn't really acknowledged at all, which I'm fine with. But to me, I think it's just weird because, like I said, I do believe that it's a specific range, which again, people think of these things as linear or whatever, or this or that. I think it's a specific range because I literally was like, holy crap, like Lisa has a spotlight on. Like, you literally have a spotlight. It's like crazy.
I know.
But I mean, you're noticeable.
I know.
But it's not always good, but it can be.
Not in this context.
No, it wasn't good in this context, but it can be in some context. And I think it's better than being totally invisible, but it's going to be an adjustment phase. And then, like, whereas I think now being mid, people won't say as many things to me in public as they would have, because I would get public stuff a lot. Usually now when it's public, it's positive in the mids. But it's also like, it's not about me. It's like about how I dress or something. It's something cheesy like that. And then, but yeah, like because that one woman, she thought that you were going to, I don't know, like
steal her stuff. I was staying too close to her stuff. I was just trying to buy some sweethearts, guys.
She put her stuff down in 7-Eleven next to the self-checkout, and Lisa was just trying to do the self-checkout, and she was like, get away from my stuff. And it's like, this isn't your house, or like, this isn't your place to like put your stuff everywhere and then get all paranoid about it. It was just very bizarre. But yeah, there was that kind of like, I just think you're not as intimidating. I think that's what it is too.
Yeah, so I'm very low-key.
People just are like,
am I way more chill than you thought I would be?
No.
That's good.
No, she's not chill. No, I'm just kidding. It's all fake, you guys. No, you're fine. But I just, I'm surprised by certain things because, like, when I was going through that stuff, I had a really hard time being calm about it. I really hated it.
Yeah.
But I didn't talk about it as much publicly. But it does kind of, it makes me feel like I wasn't totally nuts to see Lisa going through it. So I'm like, oh, hey, I know what that's like. So anyways, that's actual visibility. And that's in real life. So that's not like fake or like BS or introvert cringe.
And I have a witness.
Yes. So that's real. And again, my experiences that I talked about were also in real life publicly. Yeah. So.
Okay. Let's keep it going. 1 minute in. Let's go.
And around the block a time or two. Getting on the podcast.
I love your energy today.
Getting on the podcast has opened me up to some different conversations and to some different reactions to me going public about my fatness. So we're going to get into that today, our own experiences, but also what we're seeing around the community of plus size creators and even plus size celebrities, because no fat person is safe when they've gone public.
Literally.
Yeah. So to start us
Safe
off
from
with,
what?
Who knows?
what has changed for you as you've gone into the podcast space in talking about being fat?
I don't know if necessarily like a whole lot has changed for me going to the podcast space, only because I started podcasting several years ago. I started podcasting during the panini during the pandemic, when everybody kind of lost their minds and was like, I'm going to start a
Panorama's
podcast
better.
or get on drugs. I did both. But
So you're really with the trends.
so
Then.
I
She
really,
admits that
I'm a
nothing
trendy gal.
changed.
But no, what really changed for me was I call it my coming out that day. And it was at your parents' lake house. It was a Charlotte Plus event.
Their only house. I just want to make sure no one thinks that like they have a lake house plus their only house.
But it's on the lake.
It is.
In Lake Norman. And it's nice. I like it for me. Anyway, so it was literally the first time that I asked somebody to take a picture of me in a bathing suit, and I put it on the internet, and my caption was literally like, you guys, today is a big fucking deal kind of day. You want to know why? Because here I am in all my glory in a bathing suit and some short ass shorts. And for the first time, I am asking you to look at me. I am asking you to look at me and know that no matter what you've been told, I'm not worthless. I'm not disgusting. I'm not lazy. I'm not stupid. I'm not a pig. I'm not all of these things that you've been told. I'm a whole ass human being, and I look fucking great, but like I'm a whole ass human being, and the way that my stomach looks in this bathing suit, the way that my arms look right now, the way that all the cellulite looks on my legs does not fucking matter. So
okay, I'm pausing right there. We actually went to the pool today, and we wore bathing suits, and we also problematically body checked each other. I mean, ourselves in front of each other is a better way to put it. But not once did I just like go down there and care at all what anybody else at the pool was thinking. And I wasn't wearing little shorts either, okay? My legs were fully out.
She's having an Anna moment.
I know. I was joking. I was wiggling my thigh and being like,
well, to me, I told you guys I brought a lot of booty shorts and stuff, which just means like they're kind of tight. And I was like, I'm trying to kind of challenge myself because I feel like too, like I'm really, I'm in a different sizing and I'm like, I need to just wear the size that I am and not try to hide in a bigger size. I don't want to do that mid-sized princess thing, which that's totally a thing.
Really?
Which I joked about it at the airport with Eric because I was like, he's like, you can take off your hoodie. And I was like, I can't take off my hoodie because when you're overweight, you have to wear a hoodie. Like it was that kind of thing.
I'm wearing a hoodie right now.
See? No, I'm just kidding.
But it's cold in here.
No, but it's like one of those, oh my gosh, just go on Instagram. So many mid-sized princess videos about hoodies. I should do like a hoodie video just dedicated to it because it's that ridiculous. But I was joking when I said it. It was just because I didn't want to take it off. But it's like, I'm challenging myself to just wear clothing in that size because to me, I think something that is kind of toxic ritualistic is it's this idea that if you're wearing something looser, if you're doing this, then it's like it changes.
Yeah.
But in reality, it doesn't. Like, regardless of the size of the clothes that you're wearing, you're still the same size regardless of the shirt you're wearing. It's not real. It's kind of like a psyop. So I challenged myself to just wear the booty shorts, wear this stuff, and just be that because it's like, this is how big I am,
Yeah, exactly.
Like I have the girls out. Like I'm not going to wear a looser shirt to try to hide it. It's like, no, I have the girls. And it's like, I'm not going to care that much about it because I think it's just about living in reality. I think is the big thing.
Yeah, I think that's how I felt with the bathing suit because like I was actually really excited to wear it because it was the first time I could fit into a 2X bathing suit. And I've been telling Alex this for months, like I bought those 2X bathing suits and I I couldn't fit into them when I bought them, just because my thighs were so big, and the fact that I could pull it over my thighs, I didn't care that my thighs were jiggling Anna O'Brien style. But it's just one of those things where, this is how big I am, and it should only really matter to me. I'm not really caring what anybody else thinks, and I'm not like coming out publicly as a fat person by doing it.
No, it's not an activistic thing. No. It's not, but it can be helpful. I think, just because, again, like, this is a 1X, like you said, it's a different size. They're different sizes of clothes. It's like, and when you do wear something that's more fitted, it shows you that you have changed, which I think could also be part of the toxic ritualistic motivation to not wear something that fits, because you don't want to acknowledge that you've changed. Yeah. But I think in the case of what she was saying, it was just a lot of, we'll just say, psychological issues around consumption, because all that stuff that she was saying, I think most people probably don't really care. And it's more about what she thinks, which, to me, it can be kind of an overcompensation. I think either way, it can be too much. So if you're like, I have to hide, oh my gosh, or I have to display this and make it this huge moment that I'm coming out. I mean, that is just so ridiculous to say that. But to say I'm coming out in a bathing suit, it's like, honey,
no,
who cares?
I think what proves if you're comfortable with it or not is like me telling Eric that I'm like that Doja Cat song where it's like, I was laying down on this beach chair and I could see my reflection in the window, and you could see my butt, because like you're laying down so the fat like pushes out. You could see my butt, and I'm like, it's so big you can see it from the front. And you just gotta like just talk about your body in a realistic way. Don't take it too seriously. Like, take your health seriously, but you don't have to obsess over your body in that way,
and just understand how mundane it really is. Like, and there are parts, again, I do think the mids are tough. I think it's hard for even the legacy of these things, because I look in the mirror a lot and I'm just like, yeah, I'm really basic or average. Like, I look very, very average. I look like I haven't worked out a day in my life, but I also look like I was never hugely fat, and it's weird, but it's like, okay, whatever. Like, this is what I am right now, or this is where I'm at, and I'm not as bad. Like, I was a little bit harder in March, but it's not as bad this trip. So I'm like, no, it's just, you get used to it, basically, because I think for me, and I think a lot of people in the mids, you're so used to like looking at yourself and being like, oh my gosh, I look really bad or I look really good. Yeah. And when you're mid, you just don't, it's like, you just look, you're just there. And it's weird because for people within it, which I've told Lisa, I don't think she's going to have this problem at all in the mids. It's really hard to just see yourself very, 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 very neutrally, because you are neutral. You've reached a point of like pure neutrality. And I think people with these issues, they can't actually stand it. And you notice it because she can't just say she's just whatever. She has to say, I look great. Does she? Why not? But does she look the worst thing ever either? Probably not. Yeah. She's just whatever. Yeah. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, even me, like in the small fat, it's different. It's still, but in the bathing suit, it's like, I can still feel cute because the bathing suit's cute, but it's like, I understand that I have flaws, and it just kind of having a realistic look at yourself. I said it twice already, but it's so basic, it has to be said twice.
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, part of this channel is providing a counter narrative, because a lot of people don't talk about these things, and it's important to actually provide something that is counter to what they're saying, rather than just dismissing it entirely, or just saying this is stupid, or giving them way too much credit, which I will never do on this channel, because I can't stand that either. Yeah. So, because they don't have any credit. But anyways.
3 minutes.
Please stare at me, because I am done. I'm done begging people not to see me.
Please stare at me.
That changed everything for me. Yeah.
So I'm begging people not to see me.
I don't even know. It's an overcompensation.
I don't know. I'm struggling to
overcompensation.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It should be nothing. And again, I don't care that much that other people are not seeing me.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. For me, it's more of an internal struggle in the mids.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that aspect of small fat where I was very visible. It's tough.
I'm begging the homeless people of Austin to not see me. That would be
That's not going to happen. We're going to go out tonight and it's going to be the Lisa show again, I'm sure.
Oh my God. We're going on a walking tour too tonight.
Yeah.
Gonna get
ghost tour.
Yeah.
Ghosty.
All the ghosts are going to see me.
They're all going to come to Lisa. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, girlie's now small fat.
Mercury in 12th house.
Yeah. Answer this question a little bit, because I think the positives in my day-to-day life is actively living my DEI beliefs and morals, like in myself.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm creating space for myself to be included. And I think that's opened me up to like a lot of conversations that people feel comfortable having with me. Yeah. So I definitely feel
for bodies, maybe?
I was going to say bisexual.
I
don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know.
No, we don't know. Sorry.
I don't know.
If anybody has contacts, let us know down below.
Like there's been a positive shift in the way I connect with people, which is really meaningful for me. Something I often talked about.
Like to me, this tells me that she was looking at everybody's bodies before and judging it and saying how awful they all were and ranking it and constantly in that hierarchy mindset, which is very much, I think it's encouraged in two separate ways, physically through hypothyroidism and psychologically through the problem.
It explains why they're so attracted to political spectrums that really do emphasize and demonize a hierarchy, because that's the only way that they can think in.
Yeah, literally. And then it's always super black and white too. Like, again, you can't just look in the mirror and just see nothing or just like whatever. Like, that's what I experience on a daily basis. Like, I know that I'm really fucking recovered because I can look in the mirror and just be like, and I don't have to be like, I look amazing or I look horrible. I don't have to say that.
Yeah. I will say, because I have a huge ego and Jupiter's in Gemini, my first house right now, that I look in the mirror often and go, I think I look good. But it's different.
Well, sure. And to me, it's just so neutral, you know, which I think getting comfortable with neutrality even further than I already was. Because I think a lot of times in earlier stages, I just never thought about it. I would just make sure I didn't think about it, which I think can be really helpful towards the beginning of recovery. But I have to think about it now because it's how I'm measuring my progress. So I have to consider it. But it's also like, I can consider it now and still feel nothing, which is very weird. Yeah.
To be fair, I often say I'm in my ugly week when it's a certain time of the month.
Yeah, that's true. You monitor all that.
Yeah. You want to have a guest appearance?
Are you doing it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
No worries. I mean, I'm editing it, so in any kind of awkward pauses, we can just,
Okay. She's going to edit out my boobs out of the shot, too.
No, I'm not that good at editing. Just Crinkle does look like a nipple, though.
Your boobs?
My boobs.
Hey, look who's here, guest star.
Oh my gosh. Hi, guys. Hello. We're all too big for the camera.
I know.
I see y'all.
I know. We're going to do a video about the spectrum of size.
Yeah, after we're done with this one. Before dinner. And I'll edit this part out. But not you saying hi. I'll keep that part in. Okay, and we're going to keep talking, so just pretend we're not here. And we'll pretend you're not there. Okay, we're watching.
Brie is feeling disconnected in my connections. Yeah. Right? Like, I know I have people around me, but I still don't feel that connection with them.
Yeah.
And I am feeling that connection right now. And
that's
I do
just
think
introvert cringe.
that
I'm sorry, girl. Like, this is just introvert cringe. Just stop. You're just too introverted. You need to get out more. You need to talk to people more. And you need to have friends that are extroverted. I'm going to just actually give her that as an assignment because that's just so cringy to me.
You're lucky that you're here with me and Eric. It's like we're so extroverted that we're just
They would tell me, what are you even saying? They'd look at me like I had 3 heads if I said something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I can say something like that online and like a lot of introverts would get it. But to me, it's like, what is she even saying? You know, like when you really question it, like how would this actually relate to body size? It just wouldn't.
No.
I could see it from a mental health issue aspect 100%, or even a physical health issue aspect. I could see it. But that's how I talk about it. It's like, oh yeah, I got better. I had more empathy. I can connect with people. I feel closer to other people. I'm less like overly introverted or whatever now. I can connect more. But it's like, she's just basing it on like that hierarchy. I just don't think it's healthy either. It's weird.
You know, I'm just glad you're here to explain it to me because obviously I wouldn't know the difference. I'm like, to me, it's all weird. And I'm like, because I'm not introverted at all.
When I feel like sometimes us introverts, we're not that well understood, but it's also like,
you're not explaining it to anyone either because you're introverted.
Yeah. And then it's also like we don't always critique our own that well.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a moment where I'm like, this is just, you're introverted. Like, she could lose all the weight and she would still have this problem. Like, it wouldn't go away. Because that's the thing too. Like, I think a lot of introverts have that toxic ritualistic idea. I mean, again, within that problem, they believe that if they lose the weight, they'll be extroverted. Or like they're only shy or whatever because they're fat. It's like, honey, it's never going to go away. It's, in my opinion, it's genetic as hell.
Yeah.
I think it's like pretty much destiny that you're introverted.
It also explains though that when I was at my heaviest weight, why people were so surprised that I was so like outspoken at work and like and they were just not
stereotype
used,
maybe
they were not used to an ENTJ 340 something pound woman.
Well, it's like, and for me, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I could be, you know, I'm like 245 now. I could be 245. I could be 180. I could be 350, 380. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be introverted at any size. It doesn't matter.
Introverted at any size.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And that's anybody. It's not going to change, you know? And if you need to work on Riz and stuff, you can try, but you're never going to be as good as an extrovert. And the standards are lower anyways for you anyways. So it's fine.
Yeah.
People get it. They can kind of intuitively know.
Yeah.
And the extroverts think it's cringy if you try to pretend you're one.
Charlie XCX.
Yeah.
Who we're gonna see
her. Yeah. She's a really good example of that, but she's so introverted, and that's why I relate to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she's a good example.
But Chapel's your twin now, 4-wing 5.
Oh, I don't like.
But
that.
she doesn't pretend to be extroverted though, so
no,
she has that.
Doesn't.
Yeah, but Charlie does.
Charlie does.
Is to speak to how authentically I'm trying to show up. You know, when someone says something that hurts my feelings, I'm trying to say like, that hurts my feelings, or you know, like, this makes me uncomfortable and this is why. But I'm also trying to do that in a way that doesn't reprimand, right? That doesn't make them feel othered, right? It's to be like, hey, this is come along, like, let's talk about this together, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest positive change.
That's true.
I am still doing a lot of mental processing around how hateful people are.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely really struggling with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not struggling. I'm a little surprised.
Sorry.
Currently, I feel very grounded in what
I have to say this. I know we stop it a lot, but you kind of have to with this podcast because and I told you guys after that first moment, it was all going to be BS after, and it is. She's not hateful at all. Are we believing that? Because I'm not.
No. Well, you can just tell by the way she's talking about it, how she has to actively try to be empathetic, and she's trying to pass it off as empathy. That's why I said it was fake empathy. And I know exactly what fake empathy is, because I've told Alex's story before. I don't know if I've ever told you guys before, but I'm not the most empathetic person in general. Like, my whole childhood, I was like, people were upset. I'm like, okay, what do you expect of me? It's very ENTJ. But there was this point in my life, I was like 20 years old, and I was like, I think I need to like try and become empathetic, because I'm just not relating to people the way that I should. And it starts out a lot like that, but I actually had good intentions, you know? Mine was like altruistic, where I actually wanted to learn how to be more empathetic. I wasn't driven by some fat cause, right? And so now I can be empathetic.
Yeah.
I'm still more sympathetic in general, but I do have some empathy. Like I told Alex, like I cried in church on Friday because like empathize with like Mary, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but like, and so you have to actively work on it. But if she's saying this stuff, that means that she's not there yet. She's not actually empathetic. She's faking it. And it's because it's not altruistic. In my personal opinion, it's not altruistic. I don't think she's going to learn from it and actually develop that empathy.
Yeah. Whereas I think for me, when I was younger, I had it really strong. And then I got really ill. And then I lost it for a few years. And then now I have it back. And that's why I can also see that she's faking it too. Yeah. But I think it's just, I don't think she's well. You know, I think it's easy sometimes for me, especially in my chapel era, to be like, you're just horrible as a person and I'm better than you. But in reality, it's like, she's very ill. I've been where she is. She maybe would be more empathetic if she was healthier.
Yeah.
But part of being healthier would be to lose the damn weight.
Yeah. And here's the thing too about her, is that she could be empathetic in other areas of her life, but because this is such a non-natural thing to be empathetic about, that's why she has to put so much work into it. But even then, you're not helping yourself if you're trying to fake your way into being empathetic about something that you don't actually have to be empathetic about.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. I'm not struggling in the sense of like, oh my God, I'm not going to eat my meals today because this person said something about me, or, you know, I'm totally off my rocker because this one person told me that fat people don't deserve to live.
Yeah.
You know, I'm truly thrown off because I can't believe that there are people out there who feel so strongly about something.
She's being so choppily.
Yeah.
This is giving mid-sized princess and she's not even mid-sized.
Yeah.
It's really cringy. It's like, girl, you're not better than anybody.
Yeah.
Can we just stop?
Well, also, specifically, what is she referring to? She's referring to the internet.
Right.
Because that's why she's like struggling with if it exists or not, because she's like, I didn't even know about it until someone online showed me. And it's like, and your life was probably fine before.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Because I don't even think what you've been through, like when we've been here, it's not hateful. It's just rude or weird or
well, they're clearly mentally ill people.
Yeah, or they're just like people caught up in their own problems.
It was totally not personal.
No.
I was just the easiest target.
Yes, essentially.
Yeah.
Thing that they go out of their way to create a fake email, to then create a fake account, so that they can then go and post hurtful things to other people.
That's what the psychopaths hang out.
Think about all of the work on those fake accounts that they did to get to that place, right? It wasn't like I'm on my account and I said something mean. I actually have more respect for those people.
Yeah. Say it with your chest, man.
You know, you know, we have fitness people all of the time comment telling us how disgusting we are and, you know, how we let ourselves go. Okay, like those are clearly your beliefs based on your page versus some of the downright aggressive things that people have been saying on fake accounts is truly baffling to me. The fact that they have taken time out of their life to go to these lengths just to spread their displeasure and their hate. I think so many things I get stuck on with this because it's like, but like you're surrounding yourself with that content.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's just,
that's just human. Humans drag each other down a lot. Misery loves company. There's a saying. You would know this if you talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And it doesn't have much to do with size. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you can tell she really doesn't get out at all.
Yeah. You're 100% right. And that's why it's good to have the extroverted perspective here.
Yeah. Yes. Because I'm sure like someone like Lisa like probably learned this at like what, 10 years old or something?
Earlier, yeah.
3. I mean, like,
I have memories of being social at 2 years old.
yeah.
Like going up to adults and just chatting with them like I was an adult too.
It's like she probably learned this like really early.
Mhm.
And I'll give introverts some credit. I'm like, okay, like maybe you learned this at 16,
Mhm.
maybe 20. After that, I'm like, honey,
No.
it's too late now. Like, and you need to catch up. Like, you didn't put enough effort into it because she is not that young to be this like shockingly naive about the world. Like,
No.
I'm just like, honey, you must have been locked up in a bedroom your whole life to have this kind of attitude.
Well, especially since think about her generation. It's just not like a baby boomer podcast where they're like, I just got online. I didn't realize people were saying these kinds of things. It's
Yeah.
like you should have
Right.
if it were real, in my personal opinion, she would be getting it regardless. But because she put herself in the FA sphere, you're gonna get, those anti-FA trolls.
Mhm.
The same way that anytime I go on Twitter and I talk about like a women's issue or a marriage issue, I'm gonna get trolls who are like, well, women are the problem to everything. Now,
Right.
do I take that seriously? No, it's the internet.
Right.
Like,
Right. Right. And it's an argumentative space.
Yeah.
Which that's it.
Mhm.
Pretty much. Because it is the internet.
Yeah.
And people are gonna say weird stuff.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah.
That always happens.
Mhm. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
we're like, which one should do it? I'll let her do it.
I was talking about this earlier this week, and it's in my notes right now. But I was talking to my friend Jill, who is a beautiful plus size model. Like she looks like us, right? And I say that in a way that's like,
Beautiful, looks like us.
we still very
Like,
much,
it's
I
kind
feel
of
like in
art.
the plus size
Mhm.
space, we don't
That was an art
necessarily
quality
have
moment.
like
Oh,
a super
that
wide
sounds
range
true.
of representation
I
when it
mean,
comes to
I
seeing,
think it can happen
models
in
and
the
actors
disorder.
and all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff, right? Jill looks like us. And I absolutely love Jill. I think that she's great. And Jill and I were talking because Jill is definitely one of my rage friends that like we just I just love her. Anyway, she was also getting trolled this week. And
Are you my rage friend?
Maybe.
We rage at each other a lot about other things, and then are like, yeah.
I'm everybody's
Big
rage friend.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible.
Well, to be fair, you're always there to listen to the rage.
That's true.
Yeah, but so am I. So
That's true.
Mhm.
The thing is, like, some of it, like, she does have some of those narc qualities, but I think it's because she's not healthy, which again,
Yeah.
we have to acknowledge it's not just mentally, it's also physically.
Mhm.
But to me, she's the more competitive one.
Mhm.
And I can relate to her sometimes. So,
Yeah.
like, I get being kind of like, she's kind of like the messy one where she
Mhm.
likes to fight with people and stuff like that.
4-wing-3?
I don't know, maybe.
Mm.
But she's very reactive and
Mhm.
stuff. But to me, it's like, and I can relate to that aspect, but I've talked about it on the channel where I'm like, you have to temper that a bit. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be that way all the time.
Mhm.
You have to choose your battles and all these things. I don't think she has the ability to do that.
No.
And that can also lead to a lot of a lower quality of life, which
Yeah.
it could be your brain is not functioning correctly. Sorry.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah. I have nothing to add. That's perfect.
and I guess for our viewers and our listeners, maybe to catch you guys up as well, and then by I don't know what word I'm looking for, by association, because Alyssa chose to support me in the reel that I made. I got viciously fucking trolled and bullied, and then Alyssa made a nice comment supporting me and supporting other people who were using their voice in a positive way in the comments, and so Alyssa got some of that as well, and so we've been dealing with the backlash of that for like about, I think, 2 weeks now. And so Jill was
I'm
kind of
sorry.
going
This
through,
is so like, no shade to anybody, but this is like so introverted. It's giving like Dungeons and Dragons levels. Like, I'm expecting them to start talking about whatever creature they're role playing as like any second.
What was it called? The Well, one of them actually was the Hydra.
The
Demogorgon.
The Demogorgon,
yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's on that level. Like, I'm just saying, and I understand, I do talk a lot to my fellow introverts and stuff. I think it's important, and obviously to like talk about these issues. A lot of introverts were very tortured about these things, and we don't talk to anybody about it. And like I've said, to me, I've been horrified at them sometimes where I'm like, oh my God, because I kept it very private.
Yeah.
And they're just like all out there. But to me, it's like, if you are super introverted and you're listening to what they're saying and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is totally a thing, know that like pretty much any extrovert ever would hear that and be like, what the hell are they even saying?
Yeah.
Or like, this is really weird. Like, you really think comments on a video is drama?
Yeah.
They'd be like, huh?
Well, also what I heard from that, just as an Aquarius, it's like, if you're going to, basically post a political statement, which is kind of what she did with Fat Acceptance, the political movement. You're surprised you got backlash over a political statement.
Right.
Your political statement could be, cows deserve rights to vote, and people would call you an idiot. I mean, because you would be. But you know what I mean? You could just basically say anything. You could be, I think it's a good idea to, I don't think it's something really innocuous.
Bring back dandelion crayons.
Oh, and people will come for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She also had a reel that was hitting the wrong side of Instagram, and so we were rating about that this week, and we literally talked about
it's a real place.
That is like,
you say that a lot on your channel, and sometimes I'm like, I do think there's some real parts of the internet, because I have my introverted cringe side too, but when she says that, I'm like, the wrong side. I'm like, really? Yeah.
The only real part of the internet is, for example, how you and I met.
Right.
Is where you actually do connect with someone. And to be fair, they connected online.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and they met in real life. And that's us here. But that's literally what makes it real. Because there's definitely people that we've connected with online where they were not who they said they were. Mm-hmm. And when you learn that, that's when it becomes unreal. But now we've met in person, and we're like, we're pretty much the same as we were online.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, yeah. And I think that it's just that whole thing of like the wrong side of this, the wrong side of that. It's just, oh gosh. Yeah. It's just very cringy. And I'm not necessarily hating. It's just, to me, with love, you should not be like this in your 30s.
No.
As an introvert. No. This is giving total high school vibes. I get it. I have high school energy. Just ask Eric. He'll tell, oh my gosh, he shades me all the time. But we do have to understand when we're acting high school in our 30s, and that's what that is. That's really cringy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that also, that still applies to extroverts. It's just a different,
it shows up differently.
It's like how I hope people that I met these couple weekends ago don't see this, but like, it's like I met this dude who was 37 and he had 7 shots in one night, and then he was surprised that he was hungover for 2 days. Right. It's like, you're not in your 20s anymore.
Yeah.
And but that would be like the extrovert. I mean, to be fair, it could happen to an introvert. Yeah. But for an extrovert, you should know better.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That makes sense.
Like, okay, what's mind-boggling to me is that so many of these accounts are run by shitty men who are just basically showing up to be like, I don't want to fuck you. Cool.
Misogynist.
Cool, man. Nobody asked you to. Number one. Number two, that's like being like, I fucking hate
You know
broccoli.
what, though?
I hate
be
broccoli
real,
so
I used to feel that way when I was really big, too. Because and sometimes I still feel that way. Just when I think for me, I get kind of offended a little bit when I'm talking about something kind of serious, or like I'm talking like an activistic point, or like I'm really trying to talk about something, and then somebody brings up like my hair, or like that I'm slurping a drink or something. Slurpgate 2025, that really pissed me off.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's so superficial in comparison. So if she was actually getting comments of like, I don't want to do you, I could see that being irritating if it's not relevant. But if she was like, if you don't like somebody who's fat, if you don't want to be with somebody who's fat, then you're a misogynist. Then you're going to get that response.
Well, I think it still applies if you're presenting yourself as as beautiful. Or I mean, like and I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but like, why are we concerned that we look good? Maybe it's a part of its confidence. Maybe it's part of it just, how we feel about ourselves. But a lot of, what are we on this earth to do? Attract others for procreation. So that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's our biological imperative.
That's also true.
Yeah.
That's a reality of it. But I think too, it's just, because I would get frustrated with that. And that is my own introvert cringe, where I'm just like, I get irritated sometimes at how much appearance can be a part of things. And I've never been on here like, oh my gosh, like I'm really trying to like sexualize myself on here, or I'm trying to be like a fashion icon or something. Like I'm not doing any of that. It's like, I don't have to like do all that. All I have to do is show you that I've lost weight, which I do. I do that well enough. I don't have to do anything else. Like,
that reminds me of I got this comment a couple of weeks ago where I was, they were like, you're criticizing these people, have you looked at your own body size? I'm like, yes, that's why I'm making this video.
That's funny, somebody said that.
Yeah.
They bullied you and went to the wrong side.
I was on the wrong side of YouTube.
You're on the wrong side. Yeah.
Much. So I'm going to go to an account dedicated to broccoli and tell you how much. Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? If you hate something, why are you here?
I understand that part.
Go to something that brings you joy.
Sure.
Do something else with your life. But you're right. Like to be here, to be in our space that is clearly not for you, and be like, I don't approve of this message, and I certainly don't want to fuck you. Cool, man.
You can't own any space of the internet.
No.
That's completely delusional. This is our safe space on the internet.
No, it's not safe. I mean, I sometimes ask people to stop watching certain specific people.
That's different.
But in general, it's like whatever. And if they don't, it's not like I can control it.
No. You can hide user comments from a channel, and that's good. You can block people. But I just feel like that comes with the territory, and you're allowed to ask them to stop. But you're also not like creating an entire podcast where you talk about it.
No, well, and if somebody is like, I wouldn't be like, they're stalking me because they're watching my channel. It's like, no, like I'm putting stuff out there,
Yeah, I mean,
it's like whatever.
It's just, you just gotta realize that sometimes there's some people out there who are a little bit unhinged, and they're gonna find you no matter what.
Right.
Because you're on the internet.
True.
I didn't invite you here. I don't know how you wound up here, but clearly the content
internet
that you're consuming brought you here. So that's on you. And didn't anybody's mom like teach them, I've got nothing nice to say, like don't say anything at all?
Gosh, I think it's more than that. I do. I think they literally are threatened by women loving themselves.
Yeah.
And that's specifically to the men, because I would say like 90% of our comments are,
I think there could be a toxic ritualistic component that could be threatening, but why is it threatening? Is it because you're physically threatening them? No, it's because you're creating anxiety in the person.
Yeah.
But it's within a specific issue, which yes, men do have that problem too. They do. And so it could be something like that.
Are men specifically mad at us? Like I would say 10% or maybe some women hating on us, but majority of it is men. And I think in general, it just, to me, is a larger part
of...
the
majority of psychopaths are men. Yeah, the same thing with the majority of like people with histrionic personality disorder are women. It's like, so you're going to have your averages, and they're going to go to certain places, and that's what I said. There's psychopaths on the internet, and you just got to like stop treating it. I feel really bad that I paused it at this angle, but you got to stop treating it like it's real life, because they're at home on the internet for a reason. Touch grass, go outside.
Misogyny, but really, yeah, like how dare women, and then how absolutely fucking dare fat women is kind of what it comes
to. How dare you not hate yourself?
Yeah, is what it comes to me.
Are you vibing with us? Adam and Eve wants to vibe with you too.
Oh my God. That's a good place to end it.
Okay.
We're going to skip this ad.
Yes, that's scarring.
Oh my God. We just like walked into an ad read about Adam and Eve.
I know. Well, Lisa was like, they have 1,000 subscribers. How do they have sponsors, and I was like, I feel like it's local, but
Adam and Eve is not local.
That's not. I don't know. I want somebody to tell me in my comments. I want somebody to look into their actual viewership, because for some reason I just, as the British would say, I cannot be asked to actually look into it.
No. Yeah, but we know you guys are sleuths, and
you
will
are.
Find it for us.
Somebody knows. Somebody has the tea and the information, because I'm like, are they like a phenom off of YouTube? Because they're not on it.
Even if they're like very popular on Spotify, like, let's be honest, they would still have comparable YouTube numbers. It may not be the same, but it's literally only 1,000. Like, I have more. Like, I think it's 1.1. Let's see here. Yeah, they have 1.1. I have more subs than they do. You have 5 times as many subs as they do.
Or 4, yeah.
Or 5 times. 5? You have no 4. You're right. I can't math, guys. Math is hard. I thought you had 5,000 subs.
I mean, manifesting.
I want 2,000 by my birthday, please, guys.
Anyways, yes, we will be continuing this on the love the extrovert perspective, and I love calling out introvert cringe, which I have actually on the channel. I did call out a guy one time, which he was like a manosphere type, but he was very introvert cringe as a guy, so I will call it out. It don't matter. I do not discriminate, but I have not seen this heavy of introvert cringe in girlies ever. It's pretty.
I've seen it in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're usually too introverted to do it like online.
I'm gonna have to hear those story times because I want to hear that. But anyways, but yeah, so we'll be back for another one. I guess we're all learning like sociability 101. This is turning into communications class. It's like that level of introvert cringe. But hey, if it helps, it helps. Yeah. But I will see you guys again soon. Yeah. Talk to you later. Bye.